Let's take a look at importing models into Unity 3D. Now, even though Unity 3D is an extremely powerful game engine, it is a game engine and not a 3D modeling application. So even though you can create cubes and spheres and stuff like that, it is not built to make characters or anything else. It is supposed to run characters in your game, but you cannot make them with Unity. So you'll need different software to do that, and some of this software is really good and even free, and some of this software you need to pay for. Now, for a list of supported software that works great with Unity 3D, go to unity3d.com, click on Unity, and then under Assets Importing, scroll all the way down and you will see a list of applications that work great with Unity. Now, at the time of recording, this is the current list, but maybe when you're watching this, is already some new versions or other software that is supported at that time. Maya is a great application made by Autodesk, as well as 3D Studio Max. These are both pretty expensive but worth their money. 3D Studio Max though only works on Windows. Cheetah 3D is a small little application for only $100 and it works on the Mac. Cinema 4D is my favorite and it works on Windows as well as on the Mac, and it is a little pricey. Blender is also perfect. It works on Windows, Mac, and even on Linux, and Blender is free. So if you want to use Blender, that is a great option to go for. However, for me the interface was a little bit too complicated. Then there's Carrera and Lightwave. These are also not free. XSI and then SketchUp Pro, Wings, those are smaller applications. So, but the bulk of the users of Unity 3D use either Maya or some of the first 6 in this list here. Now, you've already guessed that I'm using Cinema 4D, and let's take a look at exporting this model for the Unity 3D engine. Now, let's take a look first at the objects that are currently in the scene. We have a turret, and this turret is grouped with a body. So if I move the body around, you can see this is the turret body. It is separated from the base. Then inside of the body are the guns. I can move those separately too. For example, when he's shooting like this, I can animate him. And then underneath the guns, there's a difference between the left one and the right one. Now, this is all set up perfectly for animation, also for use in Unity 3D. As you will see when I export this, then the turret will be exactly the same hierarchy as it is in Cinema 4D. Now, you don't have to use Cinema 4D at all. I have already exported this model for you. So when you open your project files, there is a folder called turret, and in this turret there is a turret.fbx, which is the exported format, and then there's the 2 materials that you will need. So let's go back into Unity 3D and let's create a folder models. Oh, it's already here. And then right click it, create a new folder, and call this turret. Now let's go back into our Finder and drag these 2 on top of turret to place them in this view. And this will automatically import your model. Now this may take a second because there's also 2 pretty big materials attached to them. And there we go. Now, as you can see, there's a couple more things added than we have dragged in. We dragged these 3 in, the normal, the turret FBX, and then the color map. But then Unity created one thing for us, which is called the material folder, and in it placed the material for the turret and already found the texture. Now this is very handy and speeds things up. Although in this case we don't just need a diffuse, we also need a bump map. So let's change the shader to bumped diffuse and then drag the normal on top of it. Okay, perfect. Now let's see what happens when we drag our turret into the scene. And it's a little small, so we might have to zoom in there a little bit. But it seems like everything's working fine as of now. Now let me delete this turret real quick because I think it's a little small. So let's go back and click on our turret FBX, and then we can change some import settings here. Now, one thing you need to note is that when you import models into Unity, by default you walk right through them. They are not set up for collision. So if you want that, just check the box generate colliders. Okay, then in this case it's creating one material per texture. That's fine. You can also change that per material, but in this case we only have one, so let's leave that at that. And in this case there's also no animations set up. However, if you have an animation timeline, you can split them into multiple animations so that Unity can use them. Now let's hit the apply button because we changed the generate colliders, and this will do the trick. Now also let me change the scale factor because it was pretty small in the view there, so let me change that to, for example, 0.5 and hit apply. Now when I drag it in, it should be a little bigger, and that's exactly what I was looking for. Still a little small, so let me undo that. Go back into our turret, scroll down to the import settings, and let's change this to 0.1 and then hit apply. Now when I drag my turret in, it should be big enough. Yeah, that's about exactly what I was looking for. I can move it around, and later I can save it as a prefab. Let's delete this for now, and let's continue on with some more information. We'll later come back to the turret as we use it to shoot at our main character.